What's up, everybody? This is the low-rated duelists, Noah and Will, here to talk about each of our three most underrated cards in our opinions. So, in this video, we don't know what each other's selections are beforehand, so we're just gonna kind of I'm gonna start off, and then I'll talk about my first card, and then we'll kind of just discuss that, and then I'll hand it over to Will, and he'll do his first card, and then so forth. So yeah, man, you ready to go ahead and get started?
I am.
Okay, so for this, I know yours, you told me before we started that yours isn't quite like mine. I'm doing one monster, one spell, one trap. Go ahead and what are your, how many monsters, how many spells, how many traps for you?
I have all traps.
All traps?
All traps.
What? No way, dude. Okay. I'm actually super interested to hear what they are. You know what? Since you said all traps, though, I'm pretty sure one of our traps is going to be the same, or my trap is going to be the same as yours. Okay. Well, anyway.
We'll
see. All right, we'll see. We'll see. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start it off. I'm going to do my monster. Do you want to take a gander, take a guess at what it might be before I tell you?
Is it archetype specific?
No, it's not archetype specific. It's a card that can be pretty much splashed into not every deck, but a lot of decks, and I feel like people don't run it, and I feel like they should because it's just a really super good card.
Dengo Seka.
No. Although I do like that card. It's not Dengo Seka. It is Stardust Dragon.
Stardust Dragon?
Just plain old Stardust Dragon.
Okay.
And because, I feel of course, this card, it was the first ever Synchro monster, and of course it was great when it first came out. And then after that, it kind of dropped off in play because other synchros came out that were better. But I feel like nowadays, the format is kind of getting to a place where this card is going to be super good again because it can negate things. I don't know.
Right?
It can negate things like Metal Foe Scales. It can negate Twin Twister. It can negate I don't know, man. It can just negate a lot of stuff like Raigeki. Of course, people are always going to run Raigeki. But it can negate anything that destroys, would destroy a card on the field, and I feel like that's just becoming super good again. I've brought this card out against Metal Foe guys and negated their one of their scales, and then they had to pass because of that, and just things like that. So
too, which isn't terrible. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And I mean, we've talked about this before, where back row isn't nearly as prevalent as it has been in the past, and so. Because of that, people aren't running Twin Twister. It's more of a side deck card nowadays. But just still being able to negate a Twin Twister and then get your Stardust Dragon back during the end phase, to do it again next turn is just really good to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I like Stardust Dragon. At first, I was just because I'm more of I've always been kind of a proponent of Stardust Spark.
Yeah.
After I thought about it, I was it does negate and destroy. And that can be really good against Drancia and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah. That's, I didn't even talk about that, but yeah, Drancia is about to be huge because when Zodiac's hit and everything.
Stardust Dragon that can just jump on and off the field and prevent destruction and stuff like that. And I'm really suspecting the next format multiple destruction cards are going to be actually good again, like Raigeki, Dark Hole, and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Stardust Dragon is an underrated card. I wouldn't say it's generic though. You can only really run that in synchro decks and stuff like that though.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, a lot of decks have the ability to make a level 8 synchro though nowadays. Not every deck, but a lot of do. A lot of them do.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like the pick. I like Stardust Dragon.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna hand it off to you. What's your first card? I'm gonna type it in and put it in my screen here while you're.
Okay. So I mean, there are better cards out there, but the purpose of the video is to be underrated cards. And I've always felt that Trap Tricks, Trap Hole, Nightmare. Is that yours?
No, it's not. Luckily.
Good.
Trap Hole, Nightmare. Okay.
Because I mean, you pretty much only run the card if you run Rafflesia and stuff like that. But I think that it's just kind of underrated because in some certain situations, it can be basically as good as a Solemn Strike for free.
Right.
There was a couple of times where. Before I actually owned Solemn Strike, I was running 2 Nightmare because I also ran Rafflesia. And there were plenty of occasions where I negated a Trish or I negated I don't know, something really big, like that Fluffle monster that destroys everything on the field
Yeah.
with Trap Hole Nightmare. So like I think it's a really underrated card because it can be almost, it doesn't negate a summon and it doesn't negate a monster effect. Well, it does negate the monster effect. It's not counter, but it's like it can be a situational Stardust. It can be a situation Solemn Strike for no life point cost. So I mean, it's a really good budget Solemn Strike too. So people also, because I don't know if strikes are still expensive, but I mean, they're still at least like $20, right? For the most part, I think, right?
I haven't checked on the price of those in a while, but yeah, I'm sure they've gone down ever since they like got reprinted in the mega pack and everything.
Yeah, I think they're still at least 20. To where Trap Hole Nightmare is like low key budget Solemn Strike in certain situations, and I like the card.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I think it's
too. You should definitely run Nightmare.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, like since Rafflesia is like a generic rank 4, like so many decks can run it, and just like being able to like pseudo Solemn Strike your opponent from the deck is like yes,
Yeah.
like you said, it's super good. Of course, it's not a counter, which I don't feel like Strike being a counter is like relevant all the time. I mean, it's nice that it is, but it's like like when is spell speed 3 like ever going to be like relevant? Because people can like they're not going to like have trap negation like most of the time, so.
Like the only thing that's like relevant is like Herald, but like I just like Nightmare's ability to be a situational Solemn Strike and being able to negate a monster effect and destroy it, and literally for no cost. So
right, exactly.
So,
yeah, man. I agree with that pick for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna move on to my next card, and it's a spell, and I'm gonna give you a hint. Well, actually, no, I'm not gonna give you a hint because I feel like that would give it away. But
you gotta give me at least somewhat of a hint.
Okay, it's a really old card, and when it came out, it was like its effect was unheard of at the time, and it's still legal at 3. It's not like a banned card or anything, because I mean that wasn't. What's that?
Was it Concealing Light?
No, it's not. Okay, I'll give you a second hint, but I feel like this is gonna give it away. It's an equip spell.
Moon Mirror Shield?
No. Oh, that is a good card though.
An equip spell? An equip spell. That's underrated.
Yep.
Underrated. It's not something like Axe of Despair or something like that. Is it?
No, it's not. Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's United We Stand.
United We Stand? Moon Mirror Shield's better than United We Stand.
I don't know. I mean, yes. I feel like its overall effect is better than United We Stand, but like, I was leaning more towards like in today's format when it's super easy to flood your field full of like 3, 4, 5 monsters. Yeah. Like that's basically like you slap that onto a monster and it gains 4,000 attack. Like and it can attack over pretty much literally anything. You know what I'm saying?
Monster you control.
What?
Is it 500 for each monster you control?
Yeah,
I forgot. United We Stand does.
Yeah, it's the equipped monster gains 800 attack and defense for each face-up monster you control.
Oh, 800. Holy crap.
Yeah, so if you have 5 monsters, the monster gains 4,000 attack.
But then a pendulum.
Yeah, exactly. Like pendulums are a thing. Even decks that can't pendulum, like you can still get 5 monsters on board, like not really without any problems,
Yeah.
So what do you think? You disagree? You agree or disagree?
If I were to go with an equip spell, I would take Moon Mirror Shield over United We Stand. Because, like, Moon Mirror just makes... I know, this makes it to where they're really beefy, but, like, Moon Mirror makes it to where, like, they're always stronger.
Right.
I mean, you could literally summon some piece of crap and, like, run over a Crystal Wing with Moon Mirror Shield or something.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, now that I guess, like, when I was thinking of cards for this list, I never, like, considered Moon Mirror Shield. But yeah, I mean, now that you mention it, yes, you're right. I feel like it is better than United We Stand. But actually, it's funny because after I chose this card for the list, I was like on my like little like Yu-Gi-Oh app, like Yu-Gi-Oh prices or whatever, and I actually noticed this card like has been trending, like it's like going up in price recently for some reason. I don't really know why.
I don't know why either. I don't know. Maybe they thought of the same thing. Next level meta.
Like maybe Zodiacs, I guess, since they can like basically get 5 monsters on board like their first turn or something, and they can just like.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But yeah. So that's my spell. So go ahead and let like what's your next card?
My next card Do you want to guess it? All of them are traps.
Ah,
I
another
think you
trap.
know what traps that I like
Um,
that I think are underrated.
trap. I would guess one, but it's my last card, so I'm not gonna guess it. What is it?
We'll go ahead and get. Okay. Storming Mirror Force.
Okay, no, that's not my card.
Thank God. Yeah, Storming Mirror Force.
Yeah, that's Stormy. That's the one that when your opponent it returns them to the hand. Yeah.
So you like it or no?
Storming. Yeah,
Okay.
it's good. It's good. I feel like if you're gonna run traps, there's a lot better ones to run. But yeah, I think I would agree with your you saying that it's underrated. Yeah, it's for sure underrated. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because like nobody in their right mind. Well, maybe I don't know. Most people aren't going to main deck Storming Mirror, or even side deck Storming Mirror Force, because like most people don't run Mirror Forces. Period.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I
So
like that Storming Mirror Forces because sometimes I've splashed it into decks and I've had it used against me occasionally, and the card can genuinely screw you over. Like if your deck is based off Xyz or Synchros or Fusions and stuff like that, and you attack into this thing, you
Yeah.
lose all your monsters, and you're like, holy crap! Like that was amazing. Because like I like how Konami adapted the Mirror Forces, like because generic Mirror Force is bad now because it destroys and stuff like that, and there are so many things that float, so many things
right.
that can't be destroyed by card effects and stuff like that. There aren't very many monsters that say this card cannot be returned to the hand, unless it's like Ultimate Falcon or something like that.
Yeah.
To
Sure.
where Storming Mirror Force hits all of them, and like I said, the next format is going to be based heavily on the extra deck, like with DDD, Zodiacs, Eidolon. Kind of, it's not like great against Metal though, but to where Storming Mirror Force, a well-timed one, can really screw them over. It'll clear their board, and they basically lose all their monsters because they're all extra deck based. Now, granted, no, I don't advise you to run Storming Mirror Force and take it seriously but like every now and then you have this used against you, or you use it on somebody, and they're like, "Wow, that card really screwed me over." And I'm glad that Konami pretty much made it to where Mirror Forces are somewhat, feared again. Because I
Sure.
remember back in the day, that was the trap card to be afraid of. Like, you would straight up put your monsters in defense mode because you were afraid of Mirror Force.
Right.
And I like how they have adapted the ones. I like Storming the most because you can use it whenever you want. I'm not a huge fan of Quaking because you still have to like attack through them all after you flip them face down.
Sure.
And it has to be a direct attack, even though it's great to shuffle them back in the deck. So I like what they've done to Mirror Forces, and I particularly like Storming Mirror Force. Sometimes it can really come in clutch. So that's how I feel about Storming Mirror Force.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you. I think this is a really great card in like those annoying ass like tier 2, tier 3 like anti-meta decks like like Clee Demise, or like some sort of like Demise deck that just runs like a shit ton of traps just because, I feel like this is like a really good card for those kind of decks.
Yeah, maybe even Paleo. Maybe.
Yeah, Paleo, for sure. All right, man. Yeah, I definitely agree. That's a very underrated card. I wouldn't personally run it in any of my decks, but yeah, I feel like as far as traps go, it's definitely very underrated.
Yeah, there are better traps without a doubt, like Deep Barrier, Strike, and Warning Crap, but in terms of underrated, I like Storming Mirror Force.
Sure. All right, and we're going to move on to my last card, which is a trap. Want to take a guess at what it is?
Is it archetype specific or generic?
No, it's generic. Okay, hint. It's a card that like you like back like maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. You would never. Huh?
Bring Your Destruction.
No.
Oh.
It is one of those type of cards though, like where like 2 years ago you would never even consider building a deck without running this card.
What spell speed is it?
2.
Is it Torrential Tribute?
No, but that is, I didn't even think of that, but that is a really underrated card. But no, it's not that. It's Compulsory Evacuation Device.
Oh, Compulse, of course.
Yes, this card. Oh, this card. This is like, if I had to make a top 5 list of like my favorite trap cards of all time, this would definitely be on it because like I just love this card so much. It's so cool.
Dude, that card back in the day was so good.
Yeah,
like,
it really.
So good. Like, unbelievably good. It's just, Ever since the advent of pendulums, it's just lost its place because bouncing one monster is just not as good anymore.
Sure.
Just, you know,
And honestly, like this card, like I think against certain decks would actually still be super good even today. Like against like Zodiacs, like once they get their like Marmorat on the field and they overlay for that first XYZ, you flip this and then send it back to the thing and they can't do anything for the rest of the turn, you know?
Paleo Frog guys run Compulse. Like,
yeah. It's like, I mean, of course in Paleo, because they run a crap ton of traps, it's like, why would you not run this, you know? But I love this card so much, and I think it's like still underrated even today, even though I probably wouldn't run it anymore.
I remember nobody really runs it anymore, but occasionally you'll play that one guy that does, and you're like, whoa, evac, like, no way. But then it actually works, and you're like, huh?
Yeah.
Well, good job. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Evac.
And I liked the fact that it could be used like offensively and defensively. Like you can like return your own monsters to your hand for like if you have like a combo in mind or something like that. You know, it can like be used both ways. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I remember that card. I used to think it was a staple, and now it's sadly become obsolete.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like I wish I could run this card again, but yeah.
I like the pick though.
But that's my 3 cards, man. So we can move on to your last one.
My last one? Okay, you want to guess it? It's a trap.
Or a trap. Ring of Destruction?
No.
What is it?
It was actually Torrential Tribute.
Oh, Torrential? Yeah. That's an awesome card. I definitely agree with the pick.
Well, okay, so like Torrential Tribute, I think low key might come back next format. The only thing is that it's a one of, and yeah, it being a one of, people might choose other cards. But like, I'm thinking that multiple destruction cards are actually going to be relevant next format because Cosmos are kind of gone. Pendulums are most gone for the most part, with the exception of Metal Foe. Mm-hmm. And Ring of Abyss is kind of finding its way out of the picture too, to where you got Zodiacs, DDD, you get your Eidolon, whatever, and I mean Paleo, I guess in a way, and then like maybe Heroes still playing around, and then Lawn Mowing Infernoid or something like that, to where those all die, like straight up. Like you can actually Dark Hole them, Regeki them, and they actually die for once, which I like. So like even like Torrential against ABC can be like a well-placed Torrential when they summon Buster Dragon can be like clutch and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it's good against like Blue Eyes and stuff too.
It's even good against Mermail. Like Torrential is like because we're actually playing with decks that actually die again. Like I remember when Regeki and Dark Hole and Torrential were bad because all the decks floated or would be Pendulum Summon the next turn and stuff like that. They're like, is this card even worth it? So I really like Torrential. I think it could actually have an impact next format, but the fact that it's a one of, most likely not, because people will look for other options because drawing a one of is kind of sacky. But
yeah,
I like Torrential as a pick, and it's a cool classic card, and it can get you 1 for 5 easily. It's just like boom, Torrential Tribute. You lose 5, and I only had to use 1 card for that. So that's how I feel about Torrential. So that's why I picked it as my 3rd underrated card.
Yeah, it's like one of those cards where like a well-timed Torrential can like completely swing the entire duel in your favor, or at least it used to.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. I think it could still do it, at least next format.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are my picks.
Again, Torrential is like one of those cards where if I had to make a top 5 list, that would definitely be on there. This discussion's like turned into like basically a discussion of like my favorite trap cards. I mean, it wasn't it wasn't meant to be that, but
I used to love Torrential too.
But yeah, man. So that's all 6 cards. If I can, I actually had like a wild card pick that I like was kind of bouncing back and forth on that I like was considering putting on the list, but I didn't. And that is, let me bring it up on my screen real quick. Have you heard of that quick play spell card called Magical Spring?
It not like let you draw cards or something like that.
Yeah, like basically like you side it for pendulums, and if they control 2 scales, you draw 2 cards, and then like their pendulum scales can't be destroyed by but can't like destroy themselves until the end of like their next turn. So like you like, I mean it's not too good against Metal Foe, but it's really good against like the new Pendulum Magician support that just came out, which you told me the other day is like OCG exclusive.
Yeah, I don't know when that's PCG. Apparently it's like up in the air.
But yeah, I mean, like, that entire deck revolves around blowing up scales, and so, like, this card lets you draw 2, and then also makes it to where they can't blow their scales up anymore for a whole turn. So
not terrible. I like that. Yeah,
yeah.
Go quick.
That was my wild card pick. But yeah, what's that?
I don't think I have a wild card pick. I just thought of those 3, and I just kind of. I mean, I guess I kind of have a wild card pick, but like, I don't know if you consider it underrated.
Let's hear it, man. Let's get.
It's like raw sphere mode.
Oh, raw sphere mode. Yeah, hell yeah, dude. This card is amazing.
Like, I mean, cause like that's actually, cause I remember like we used to talk about it. Like, dude, raw sphere mode legit like could be a good card, and like nobody would really take us seriously because nobody else was running it.
Yeah.
And then people actually started using it, and we're like, dude, like, don't you hate that? Like, people are like, no, it's a stupid idea. Like, until like it actually starts getting used, and like, oh, it is.
Yeah.
Kind of like when I was actually a proponent of Book of Eclipse, but then people were like, no, unless you draw, it's a bad card. And then people actually liked it over Swords Concealing Light. But like,
I remember people running Book of Eclipse for like a bunch of formats now. People have like cited it for like it was used back in like a Necros format. Like people would cite it like for like Genlock and shit like that, you know.
Yeah, like people would. Well, then there was like a transition to Swords of Concealing Light because it doesn't allow the draw, and then people were like, you just destroy them. They don't get the draws anyway.
Right.
But I mean, raw sphere mode. Even though it's like always a joke, like break this board, everyone's like raw sphere mode. I don't think people, take it seriously. It's kind of like a joke in a way, like, oh yeah, like you're gonna sphere mode them, but legitimately that could really help in today's game. Like,
oh yeah,
Rafflesia, Darklaw, and Treat Toad. Like, can you imagine like the look on your opponent's face when they get sphere moded? It's like 1 card for 3, and so like, I mean, yeah, you lose your normal summon because you're attributing something to your opponent's monsters, but like nowadays in Yu-Gi-Oh, it's all about like assimilating a big ass board of monsters, not necessarily back row.
Right.
And it's raw sphere mode just is like, I don't care what you summon, you can't chain, you can't respond to this. I'm just going to tribute your unless they have like Mask of Restrict or something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, nobody runs that because Monarchs don't do anything anymore.
Just tribute over it. And now, granted, like, I don't know how many people actually legitimately side raw sphere mode, but like, I think it's something that people don't necessarily take seriously. People are always like joking around, like, oh, sphere mode can break that board and stuff like that. And I'm saying, yeah, sphere mode can break that board. So you should probably take it seriously and maybe consider it for a side deck depending on your matchup.
If I knew I was about to have a match against like Treat Toad Heroes or like Zodiac or something like that, I mean, yeah, I would legitimately consider citing this card for that.
Like, and even like Malifaux Yang Zing is another card or another deck to consider. I even think Lava Golem's not a terrible card. Like, right. Kaiju's Lava Golems, but like Sphere Mode is like the ultimate. Like, you have to tribute 3. So I think Sphere Mode is underrated.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if you consider it underrated, but like I would definitely consider it underrated because I guess it's just become a meme of break this board. So
it's like the card that like it's like the worst, or not the worst, but like the less used out of all the 3 like monster removal, like Kaiju's, Lava Golem, and then there's like Sphere Mode, which like nobody really runs, but like
nobody really uses until they get their monsters tribute, and they're like, whoa.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, that's all the 6 like main cards, and then we each had like 1 wild card. So I mean, is there anything else you want to add to this discussion before we close it out?
I just would like to hear the viewers' suggestions for underrated cards. So in the comment section, feel free to chime in on what you think of our selections, and also feel free to add your own selections, because it'll be interesting to see what other, because I love discovering new cards. Sometimes people like talk about a card that I've never heard of before, and I'm like, whoa, that's actually not terrible, and I've never even heard of this card before. So, feel free to chime in on the comment section, and we'd love to hear it and stuff like that, and feedback.
Yep. Definitely. All right, well, that's going to do it for this discussion, and we appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.